Olentangy Park was a beautiful natural area along the Olentangy River at the northern outskirts of the city of Columbus, north of OSU, and at an area that really hadn't developed as a residential area yet.
There was a mill at the corner of North High Street and the river. There was a green space right near the mill. Some say it was just a picnic park, and other people say it was a kind of shady, rough tavern. It was called Olentangy Villa.
Early amusement areas, they lived a little bit of a double life. During the day, they were welcoming to women and children to enjoy the river, but at night the character might change a little bit. They might be seeing prostitution, they might be seeing illegal gambling, they might be seeing alcohol abuse, and that scared off some people.
Then in the 1890s, the Columbus Railway and Light Company, which was the owner of the streetcar system in Columbus, purchased it and decided to make it more of a destination. At the end of the streetcar line, it was wonderful to have something that people would go to on weekends when they weren't using the streetcar during the week for commuting or for other types of activities.
Circa 1896, Olentangy Park put in a grand boathouse on the Olentangy River, and the natural beauty around the Olentangy River was one of the main attractions that brought people to the area. In 1899, the Duesenberry brothers bought Olentangy Park from the Columbus Railway Company, and they ushered in the golden age of Olentangy Park. And what Olentangy Park did was decide to make this amusement park a family-friendly amusement park.
The brothers added rides, turned the historic Beers Mill into an attraction, and made other improvements that made the park more family-friendly. They also built a summer theater at the park that seated 1,000 more people in the largest theater downtown. On a visit to the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, the Duesenberry brothers saw the fascination people had with a Japanese exhibit. They managed to relocate many of the features from the fair to Olentangy Park. Olentangy Park was a popular place for reunions and company picnics.
Cromwell Dixon is seen here in a 1907 picnic with the president of Olentangy Park, J.W. Duesenberry. Cromwell Dixon was known as the youngest aeronaut and inventor in the world. At age 14, he invented what was called a sky cycle. One of his first flights was made at Olentangy Park.
Olentangy Park was the most popular amusement park in the area. It featured 4 roller coasters operating simultaneously, including a figure 8, a scenic coaster that paralleled High Street and later became the Red Devil, and a loop-the-loop.
It was an early design that was very circular in nature, so when you went into the loop, the forces kind of slammed you into the hill, and it gave a lot of people whiplash. That combined with the fact that some people got stuck sitting at the top and the fact that they had very thin bars holding people in equaled the demise of the loop-de-loop by about 1912.
Those who couldn't muster the courage for the coasters could visit a 10-acre zoo and floral conservatory at the southern end of the park. The dance hall at the park was made of steel, so a wayward cigarette or cigar butt wouldn't send it up in smoke.
You would buy a ticket, get out on the dance floor, and then once the tune was finished, you would be ushered off the floor by a large rope that would basically wrestle everyone off the floor like cattle.
One of the park's showpieces was an elaborate carousel that featured the spectacular and flamboyant creations of Marcus Ilians, at one time considered the preeminent carver of carousel horses.
Men would be there in their full suits and ties. Women would be there in full dresses, usually white dresses, large hats.
The carousel was renovated in 2000 by Carousel Works in Mansfield, Ohio, and still thrills people of all ages at the Columbus Zoo. Olentangy Park featured one of the largest swimming pools in the Midwest, where thousands of bathers gathered. The park required you to rent one of their bathing suits, which added a certain amount of drama to the experience.
Sometimes they were baggy and a little ill-fitting and had a tendency to kind of fall off. Olentangy Park also had a feature that delighted young kids, and that was Tanda the baby elephant. He used to walk around the grounds. They would let people climb up on him, and at certain times they let him swim in the pool.
For a graduation party, I was allowed to take my girlfriend, Betty, to Olentangy Park. And they had a tunnel of love you could go into. I think that's pretty handy to go with my future wife. Nice trip through the tunnel of love.
Then it became less popular. People had other diversions, they had cars, they were less reliant on streetcars. And by the 1930s, it was purchased by L.L. Levesque and it was demolished, and that's where Olentangy Village is today.
They wanted to do a Georgian architecture. The original pictures had a lot more apartments here. They had mid-rise, I mean, it was very high density.
It was the first big apartment complex that was built here in Columbus.
And it'd also be a community. It was going to have the grocery store, it was going to have shops and restaurants.
The Village Tavern was very popular, the beauty shop.
The major bakery in Columbus was G. Antonio's Bakery. It was known for its wedding cakes. It later became Mozart's Bakery.
A bowling alley at the Olentangy Village was the first in the nation to use automatic pin setters. The system was devised by Ohio State students, and the design was sold to the AMF company. The bowling alley remained popular until 1980, when it was destroyed by fire. Investigators speculated the blaze began in the basement room where the pin setter motors were located.
That was a real sad day for people when that bowling alley was burnt.
It's my understanding that the swimming pool hung around for a while as part of the Olentangy Village apartments, but that's all gone today. But it still has a beautiful setting along the river, and you can imagine how it must have been a really beautiful park at one time with a zoo, amusement park, dance pavilion, swimming, all kinds of picnic areas, all kinds of activities.